Welcome to today's video. I have finally made a TBR jar, and I feel like this is a perfect way to tackle my physical TBR. So let's have my first ever TBR jar, choosing my March reads. Before we dive into what I'm going to read in March, I want to quickly go over the books that I chose in February and whether or not I read them. You're going to get a full wrap up soon with my thoughts and opinions, but I just kind of want to quickly go through them and whether or not I read them. First up is Thorn. I did pick this up and I really enjoyed it. Next is Ninth House. I did read this. I'm a little indifferent. Then we have Small Favors. I did read this and I had a pretty good time. Next up, The Shadow Queen. I am so glad that I finally read this. It was a fun retelling. I had a good time with it. And then we have Soul and Midnights. This actually came out at the beginning of February. I did read this. I loved it. Then we have Shadow Song. This was a conclusion to a duology and I did read this and I loved it more than the first book. And then we have The Book of Life. I am so happy to say that I did read this. I just recently finished it and I am so glad that I finished this trilogy. Lastly, we have Tuesdays with Morrie. It is February 23rd when I am filming this, so I have not read this yet, but I am wanting to read it this week, so stay tuned for the wrap up to see if I actually did. So these all came from my physical TBR. I loved setting a February TBR because I feel like it challenged me to read more from my physical TBR and to just get through these books that some I was putting off, some I was highly anticipating. So I loved it and this was such a success. Now let's get into choosing my March reads. There are actually quite a lot of prompts in here, but I feel like there's nothing filling this jar, so we're gonna have to add more. Also, it's not color coordinated at all. I just wrote based on vibes. Okay. A book over 500 pages. Whose idea was it to put that in there? Essentially, these bottom two rows are my entire physical TBR. Let's see. Okay, we have quite the selection and I feel like quite the diversity. So I have 4 books that I am going to choose from. First up is Iron Gold by Pierce Brown. This is starting the next saga from the Red Rising trilogy. I believe this takes place 10 years after the conclusion of that trilogy, but I've been wanting to get back into this world, so maybe March is the month. And then we have Quicksilver. I've had this for a long time. I've seen such mixed reviews. I don't know. I'm scared to read it because I just don't think I'm gonna like it. But also I could absolutely love it. I think if I go in with wanting just like a vibes read, I could really enjoy this one. So we have a sci-fi option, we have a fantasy option, then we have whatever Stephen King is. This is Fairy Tale. I've also had this on my physical TBR for a couple years now. I don't know, it just intrigued me in the beginning. The synopsis of the synopsis is it's about a boy who inherits the key to a parallel world where good and evil are at war and the stakes could not be higher for that world or ours. It just sounded so good. I don't know. And then lastly, your general fiction, if you will, a book that will make you cry, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book scares me to no end because I've only seen people sob. That's my only information about this book. I just don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Fairy Tale. I have not read Stephen King in such a long time. I read Billy Summers a couple years ago, and then I read Mr. Mercedes, I think, but then I didn't continue on with that trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. So I kind of just want to pick up a Stephen King book again. Next book. A book with one-word title. Okay, let me look. So we have 3 more diverse picks. First up is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This book is actually annotated by my friend when she gifted it to me for my birthday, so I really want to read it. It's definitely a more intimidating read, but I think I could really like this. And I am desperately wanting to read the Poppy War trilogy, so if I read this, then I could read the Poppy War. It's just kind of how my brain works. And then we have a YA fantasy read. We have Nightbirds by Kate Armstrong. So this is where magic is illegal in this place, but for the right price, you can get it. As the wealthy always make that happen. They need only to procure a visit with a nightbird, girls who can gift their rare powers with a kiss. Usually a tight-knit group. This season's nightbirds couldn't be more different. And then we have all the descriptions of the different nightbird girls. So when the nightbirds find themselves at the heart of a deadly political scheme that shakes the world as they know it, they must pull their differences aside and band together to fend off those who could exploit them. And in doing so, you're discovering the corrupt world, world and all the things. So in a way, I feel like this could be a fun book to break up the other books. I don't know, I love a good YA fantasy if it's done well, so that could be a good one. And then we have Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I love Fredrik Backman, but I've only read My Friends by him, but that book changed my life. This I've been scared to get into, but I feel like March could be the time. I think I'm gonna pick Nightbirds by Kate Armstrong. We'll see how it goes. Go lie down. You can lie down right here. Okay, book 3. Pick a book with a green cover. I did do that for each of the colors in here. I was just like, pick a book with color. Okay, green. So we have 2 options. I feel like one is a way clearer option than the other. So first up, we have Sorcery of Thorns. I've had this on my physical TBR for quite a while, but it's giving more teal than green, but it's what I'm working with. So we have Elizabeth, who has always believed that sorcerers are evil, and she is raised as a foundling in one of the great libraries. Elizabeth has grown up among magical grimoires that rattle beneath iron chains, capable of transforming into grotesque monsters. When an act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire, Elizabeth is accused of treason. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flames, but the world along with them. Sounds like a classic fantasy to me in such a good time, but it's not quite giving green. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I haven't seen the movie either. I don't know. I enjoyed the Hunger Game movies, but it's not like I loved the books. I feel like I've seen so many positive reviews on this, so we need it. I think we need it. We need to see what Snow is up to. We need to just see how this all came about. You know what I mean? Okay, next up, we gotta choose a different color. I keep choosing green and yellow. Instagram pics. Shoot. Okay, it's perfect because it's earlier on into us picking, so let me figure out which 2 books I want you guys to choose from. Oh, excuse me. I now need to take a picture of these 2 books. Oh, baby. Mama needs to take a picture of the books. You're not helping. Okay, the poll has been posted, so we will see which one you guys pick. Next up, I'm trying to just not choose yellow or green so we get some more color in our lives. A seasonal / holiday read. So we don't really have a current holiday. We just had Valentine's Day pass. So let me see if I even have an option for this. So I don't think we even have an option for this one. Maybe that's why I wasn't picking blue. Let's try again. Green, of course. A cover that has food on it. Okay. Girl, who chose these prompts? I might have another option, but frankly, this is the one I want to read. This is For the Thrill of It All. Look at this cover. This is my friend Elle's book. I don't read a ton of romance, but I have been wanting to read this, and I feel like this is going to be perfect to kind of break up all the fantasy and fiction that we're going to be reading. This is such a good flop. Oh my gosh. Okay, for the synopsis. So this is her interconnected standalone series all about F1 racing. I'm excited to read this. So we have Lucia, our main female character, and she is just feeling stuck. She is living on her family's vineyard, caring for her daughter Gia, and longing to find herself again. Her brother Matteo, a star Formula 1 driver, refuses to let her stay in neutral. He convinces Lucia to join him on the racing circuit, hoping the adventure will reignite her spark. In comes Alexander Wright, a 5-time world champion, thrives under pressure on the track. Off the track, keeping an eye on his best friend's sister is a challenge he didn't see coming. Lucia's guarded heart and complicated past stir something in Alexander he can't ignore. When Alexander needs help repairing his public image after a media scandal, a fake dating scheme seems like the perfect solution. But as their worlds collide, lines blur, and one thing comes clear: this might be the most unpredictable and thrilling race of all. This sounds like it could be so good. Next up, We have blue, but let's see. Continue a series you're in the middle of. I really needed this. Okay. Are these a lot of like the start of a series? So because I'm only picking books for my physical TBR, we only have one option, and that is Heartstopper Volume 4. I don't even know if you consider this a series, but it is to me. And I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I love them so much. I'm actually very excited to read this because it's just something I've been putting off and I don't know why. So this is perfect. Okay. Pink. A book with a number in the title. Ooh, okay. I don't really know how many options I have, but I like the prompt. So we have 3 options. I am scared for all of them, if I'm honest. First up, we have 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. This I'm a little scared of because I've seen some mixed reviews recently, but I saw enough people talk good about it before, so it's been on my physical TBR for a while. We are following Eva. She's a single mom and best-selling erotica writer who is feeling pressed from all sides. Shane Hall is a reclusive, award-winning novelist who, to everyone's surprise, shows up in New York. When Shane and Ava meet unexpectedly at a Black literary event, sparks fly. But what no one knows is that 15 years earlier, teenage Ava and Shane spent one crazy, torrid week madly in love and have been secretly writing to each other in their books ever since. Over the next 7 days, amidst a steamy Brooklyn summer, Ava and Shane reconnect, but Ava's wary of the man who broke her heart. Before Shane disappears again, she needs a few questions answered. This is another book that I feel like could get me out of my comfort zone, and that kind of makes me want to read it. And then we have a book I'm embarrassed to say I haven't read yet, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I know. We all know what this book is. I feel like if I read this, I definitely want the audiobook alongside it. I'm scared, but not as scared as I am for this last book. Our last option is Binding 13. I just don't think this is an option for me. If I'm honest, this is what I need to save for a book that is over 700 pages because this is a thick book and I'm just too scared to read it. So really, we're caught between our 7 girlies, and I think I'm gonna choose 7 Days in June. We have one more prompt that will make 8 books, I think. So let's go ahead and pick a book with a sprayed edge. Oh no. No! You guys, please tell me there's another. Oh, thank God we have options. Okay. We have 3 options. One, I'm pretty much vetoing now, but also I might read it in March because I feel like one of my friends and I were talking about buddy reading it in March. Maybe it's April. First up is The Song of Achilles. I just don't think I'm ready for this, but I also want to buddy read it with one of my friends. But we do have the teal sprayed edges. So this is a beautiful edition. I love it. I'm terrified to read it. And then we have Half City by Kate Golden. This is a new release, one that I want to read soon anyway, so it could be perfect. And then we have these sprayed edges. A stunning edition. Like, if you're gonna put sprayed edges on a paperback, give me a design. Well, honestly, just give me a design on any sprayed edge. Okay, and then the last one is Immortal Consequences by Ivy Mary. This is stunning. I do really enjoy this. Immortal Consequences. What is this book about? Welcome to Blackwood Academy, the legendary school located on the fringes of the afterlife. Once a pupil enters the academy's arched gates, there is no way out, except for the decennial, a once-in-a-decade celebration in which a single worthy student is tested and given a choice. Graduate and join Blackwood's magical elite, or cross over to the mysterious other side. This time, though, the rules have changed. This decennial isn't a celebration, it's a competition, and there can only be one victor. 2 academic arch rivals whose strange connection blurs the lines between obsession and hate. One girl driven solely by ambition and the other plagued by memories of the love she lost. A charming playboy who's never cared for anyone until he met the academy's newest student. Each of these 6 students has their own motivation to win and their own secret to hide, but what none of them knows, they aren't the only ones playing Blackwood's game, and if they lose, some fates are worse than death. Oh, that sounds so good. This I've just seen a lot of people talk about, but I actually don't know the synopsis. Viv is an average 21-year-old girl. She lives in an expensive city where the rent is too high, works long hours at a thankless job, and is dating a guy she doesn't even like in hopes of winning her prickly mother's approval. She also happens to be a demon hunter. It happens to the best of us. Can't fault her for that. Ever since her father's murder, she's been forced to hunt deviants alone, meaning everyone, including her family, sees her as an outsider, until the day she crosses paths with a dangerously alluring demon, Reed Graveheart. The reformed deviant tells her of a school for people. Milo is laying on the tripod right now, so if you guys shake, that's Milo. The reformed deviant tells her of a school for people just like her, Harker Academy for Deviant Defenses. If she enrolls, she'll learn to hone her craft, work with other hunters, and never be alone again. But Viv has a deadly secret, one that not even her new friends at Harker can know about. Not if the school might hold the answers to untangling the mystery surrounding Viv's father's death. When strange occurrences begin to plague the students, Viv will have to figure out who she can trust, all while trying to ace her classes, avoid falling for a demon, and make it through her first year at Harker in one piece. How hard can that be? So I'm really caught between Half City and Immortal Consequences, but because I was already planning to read this soon, I feel like this is the one that should go on my monthly TBR to make it a little easier for myself. I don't think it's been that long, but we're just gonna have to see which one people have chosen. Okay, the Heart of the Raven Prince has won with 82%. We are choosing Heart of the Raven Prince. A playboy prince in want of a decoy bride, a servant girl desperate for a disguise. Half-Fae Ember craves freedom from her conniving step-family. As if they weren't enough to deal with, a chance encounter with the arrogant prince leaves her humiliated in a fiery rage. Nothing could convince her the prince is anything but a wraith, but when the opportunity to evade her scheming stepmother falls into her lap, she'll pay the price, even if it means impersonating the prince's newest flame. To prove himself a worthy heir, Prince Franco, I don't know how I feel about that, but he must marry a princess. But after far too many unsatisfying trysts, he's given up on love. With the social season in full swing and bringing with it the horde of husband-hungry socialites, he'll do anything to delay the pressures of both marriage and the crown. And what better solution than an alliance with a desperate servant girl glamored as his false future bride? Locked in a bargain, Ember must pose as a princess until midnight at the full moon ball. Until then, all she has to do is wear the glamour, pretend to court the prince, and above all else, not fall in love. But when feelings emerge on both sides, she starts to wonder if there's more to their contrived courtship than either of them planned. We love a retelling. This is gonna be good. So here is my March TBR. Let's do a quick recap. We have 7 Days of June by Tia Williams, For the Thrill of It All by Bestie L, Half City by Kate Golden, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and then we have Heart of the Raven Prince by Tassanja Odette. I hope I'm pronouncing that within reason. Then we have Fairy Tale by Stephen King, and then Nightbirds by Kate Armstrong, and then we have Heartstopper of Volume 4. Let me know if you have read any of these books and if there's any of these that I need to make sure I read in March. With that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.